In this tutorial, we will learn how to create a new mist image. As you might expect, we'll start by clicking the Create button that appears at the top of the free page. The mist graphical user interface appears. The first step in creating an image is to add a value. We do so by clicking the Add a Value button. A list of possible values appears. We're going to add the value x. So we click on the x and drag it down into the screen. You'll note that a small white box opens up, so we will click on the box and see the corresponding image. Of course, that's a fairly simple image, so we might want to add functions. Let's click the Add a Function button. A list of available functions appears. Let's use the sign function. We'll click on that and drag it down. You'll note that we do not have a white box next to the sign function. That's because it does not yet have its input, signaled by this small gray icon. So let's connect the x to the sign. We click on the line tool. We click on the x. A line appears. We'll drag it to the input, which expands, and we click again. It is now connected, and we see the little white box appear. We can click on that to expand it. Let's add one more function just to see what's happening. We're going to choose sum this time. Sum adds things together. In this tutorial, you'll see that this time it has two inputs. Mist image. Let's add the result of sign. Start by clicking the Create button that appears at the top of the free page. The mist graphical user and the original x. So I'll click on the original x. First step in creating an image and drag it is to add a value. We do so now has two inputs, value button, and so we can see the result. A list of possible values appears. We're going to add the value x. It's not all that interesting. So we click on the x. You'll notice that we also drag it down one more gray input on sum. This is because sum can add. You'll note there's a small white box or more values. So we will click on the box and see the corresponding image. We've started to create an image. We may be happy with it. Of course, that's a next thing we might want to do. So we might want to add functions to our. Let's click the Add Function button. We click on Image. A list of available image appears. Functions appears. We enter a name. Let's use the sign. Let's say we'll click on that and drag it down, and we click Save. You'll note that we do not have a white box next to the sign function. We'll look at that again. That's because it does not yet have its input. All of the signaled images are also represented as text. So let's connect. We have sum of sign x. We click on the line tool. You can see we click on the x. Any image by clicking on the corresponding. We'll drag it to the input icon on the screen, which expands. At some point, we may realize it is now connected, and we see the little white things incorrectly or added something. We can click on that to expand it. There is a Remove button, this x, which we can then use. Let's add one more function, sum, just to see what's happening. We're going to choose sum this way. Sum adds things together. This connecting line. You'll see that this time it has two inputs. Let's add the result of sign. Of course, that leaves us very little left, so let's reconnect. And the original x. So I'll click on the original x. As we experiment and drag it with the Mist GUI, we might be creating has two inputs, and so we can see the result. It's not all that interesting. You'll notice that we also have one more gray input on sum. This is because sum can add. And at some point we want to save the workspace of our work. We have a Save Workspace button. We've started to create an image. We may be happy with it. The next thing we might want to do is save it to our account. Save. We click on Image. If we then reset our workspace and get rid of everything, we enter a name. Let's say it's gone, but we can bring it back up with the Open Workspace, which lists our available. It is now available to us our future workspace. Look at that again. We can load. All of the mist images are also represented as text. Down here we have sum of sign x and x. Good luck, and come back for more tutorials. Any image by clicking on the corresponding icon on the screen. At some point we may realize that we have connected things incorrectly or added something we don't want. There is a Remove button, this x, which we can then use, for example, on the sum, and it goes away. We could also get rid of this connecting line. You'll notice it highlights, and it goes away. Of course, that leaves us very little left, so let's reconnect. As we experiment with the Mist GUI, we might be creating many things. And at some point we want to save the workspace of our work. We have a Save Workspace button up here. Let's click that. This is also very boring, so we'll call it boring, and I'll click Save. If we then reset our workspace and get rid of everything, it's gone, but we can bring it back up with the open workspace, which lists our available workspaces. And there is our boring workspace, which we can load. You now have seen enough basics that you should be able to begin making your own images. Good luck, and come back for more tutorials.